everybody, and welcome to the Punchboard Report. My name is Blake Ryder. Today we are looking at Gizmos, designed by Mr. PWH himself, Phil Walker Harding, published in 2018 by Cool Mini or Not. Now, Mr. PWH, Phil Walker Harding, near and dear place in my heart because he designed Imhotep, and Imhotep is one of the games that I largely attribute my obsession with board gaming to, the other three being Friedman Friese's Power Grid, as well as, perhaps not surprisingly, Ticket to Ride and Settlers of Catan. So right off the bat, when I saw Phil Walker Harding design this game, I was thrilled to try it. Now, Gizmos, this is the kind of the ultimate engine builder because you are, in the game, designing and building an engine that when you run it will allow you to put more gizmos and more powerful stuff in your engine and then run it again. That will then allow you to build a more and more powerful engine. So it's essentially an engine builder of building an engine. Had my name written all over it because I love engine builders. It's one of these games where each turn you get one action, but the stronger the engine you build, that one action will hopefully trigger other actions as well for you to do on your turn. So let's get it set up on the table and we'll be back for some thoughts. All right, this is the setup for one player, but each player would have one of these player boards as well as one of these rings to store their marbles in. And in the center of the table, you would have this kind of gizmo display, some victory point tokens, as well as this marble dispenser. Now, take a quick look at this marble dispenser. This is kind of like the centerpiece of the game, and it adds a really nice touch and tactile nature and feel to the game. And, you know, when you take a marble, or as they call them in the game, energy spheres. When you take one, you just take one of the 6 that you see visible. It'll automatically refill. And then when you spend it, you just toss it right into the top. Just one thing to note, this is the second edition of the game, which comes with this plastic version of the marble dispenser. Just note that the first edition of the game, this was actually cardboard, and I've played it with the cardboard version. It's totally fine. Just pointing that out in case you happen to really like the plastic version. Just note that if you're trading for the game or getting a secondhand version of the game, if you got a first edition, this would be cardboard. All right, so what's going on in this game? This right here, this kind of represents your blank template for your engine, and everyone starts with one of these gizmos in their engine, and over the course of the game, we will be adding these gizmos to our engines to make them run more and more efficiently and powerfully, and the game is going to end when either one person has added their 16th gizmo to their engine or added their 4th level 3 gizmo to their engine, with level 3 gizmos being the most powerful in the game. So let's kind of go through these player boards now. On the far left, you have your stats that you're going to essentially start the game with. These are kind of your capacities for what you can hold and what you can do initially, and you can upgrade these. Next, we have converters. I'll get back to this momentarily. These right over here are the 4 actions of the game, okay? So the first action is file. File literally means you take any gizmo, you add it over here to your archive, and then you can add it to your board by building it later in the game. So this is essentially reserving a gizmo for later in the game. And you, at the beginning of the game, you have a capacity of 1 in your archive, but you can upgrade these. Next, we have pick. Pick, all this means is you take one of these marbles and you add it to your sphere. There we go, and then that will refill. Next, we have build. Build, you take any one of these gizmos or a gizmo from your archive. You pay its cost by just adding them back to the dispenser in marble, so that this one costs 4 yellow, for example. You add them to the dispenser, and then you add the gizmo to your engine based on whatever that symbol is. This symbol will indicate what section it goes under because that is where the gizmo will apply in terms of what the action or the benefit you get is. And last but not least, you have research. Research, the capacity for this one starts at 3, and this basically means that you're going to take 3 cards from either one of these decks, look at them, and then decide if you want to build one or you can archive one, and the rest will go under the bottom of the deck. So again, your capacity for that is 3, and your capacity for marbles that you start with is 5. Now, those are the actions, but the game really lies in these gizmos and finding cool combinations that trigger each other and bounce off each other, so you have these big cascading effects. So let me explain. So first and foremost, we'll start with over here upgrades. So this will add 2 to your capacity for marbles, 1 to your capacity for your archive, and then it will add 2 to the number of cards you will draw on a research action. So you would add this here, and that will then upgrade yourself accordingly with those capacities, and this will also give you 3 points at the end of the game. Then you have converters. Converters will go here, and then, for example, this one will give you 1 point at the end of the game and will allow you to treat 1 red marble as a wild when you take a build and you build a gizmo to your engine. Each gizmo can be triggered once per turn, so this will allow you to build one. Will allow you to treat 1 red as a wild, but you can stack those. So theoretically, if you had multiple ones of those, you could then treat more reds as wilds. This one right here means whenever you build a blue card, a blue meaning one of this is yellow, obviously that would be a blue one. This means you get a point. This one means that anytime you build a black gizmo, you get a free pick action. So hypothetically, if I had this, for example, here, goes in the build column. Let's say I had that, and let's also say I had this one, which gives me a free random marble from the top when I pick a yellow. So I pick a yellow. This means I will then take any marble randomly, obviously, from the top. So I just reach in, take one without looking. So hypothetically, if I had that there, and I had that there, and then I opted to build this converter, which is black, I would obviously have to pay the cost in marbles, 3 black. I would put that there, and by building a black, I would get a free pick. Now, hypothetically, if the situation in the game was like this, let's say it was like that, and I built that, I would get if I build a yellow, I get a pick. Sorry, if I build a black, I get a pick. So I take my pick, I took a yellow. So if I pick a yellow, I also get a free one from the top. So you're going to be basically building and connecting all these gizmos such that they kind of play off each other and give you benefits. This one means anytime you build from your archive, you get 2 picks. So this one encourages you to get work your archive, and that gives you picks. And then if I took a yellow, I would then get one from the top, and so on and so forth. Level 3 gizmos are generally the highest point value ones. For example, this one gives you 8 points, but it actually takes away your ability to do the research action in the game. This one is worth 5 points, but it also then will give you a 1 marble discount anytime you build a level 2 gizmo. So there's a whole bunch of different types of gizmos in the game that string together, give you points, and ultimately, like I said, you're going to keep building these gizmos, and once someone builds their 4th level 3 gizmo or their 16th gizmo to their engine, that will trigger the end of the game. You add up the points that you have on the tops of your gizmos and any points you got in-game, and whoever has the most points is the winner. So that is Gizmos. Now let's get into it. First, component-wise, I love games that have a tactile touch and feel. I love games where in between my turns, or even on my turns, I can just be touching the pieces and they're nice to touch. So when you have a game that has marbles and they're in my little ring and I'm touching them and grabbing them from the dispenser, I love games like that right off the bat. That just gives me a predisposition towards liking it. Obviously, the game has to be good too, which, spoiler alert, this one's good. However, I happen to like games that have a nice tactile feel, and this one definitely delivers on that front. And plus, the gizmos are square cards. I happen to like square cards. I don't know. Does that make me weird that I like square cards? Honey, does it make me weird that I like square cards? Totally normal. Confirmed it. No, but seriously, this game is awesome. I love it. I like games that, one thing triggers the next thing, triggers the next thing, triggers the next thing, and you have this ripple effect, this cascading effect. It warms my heart. So, I was definitely inclined to like this game before I played it, and then once I played it, I confirmed that. I love how you can build a lot of different types of engines. You can, I built an engine once that was really, really driven by that archiving mechanic where, I would archive something and I would get picks, and I would build from my archive and I would build at a discount and get more picks and more points. You can really build engines that focus on different things, and I like when I play this game that I can try different engines every single time I play and just find different combinations that work well together. You can also build engines that really just revolve around one thing, like one yellow. Like I can do a yellow engine that when I pick yellows, I get stuff. When I build yellows, I get stuff. And it really revolves heavily on that. Or you can kind of do like a broad sweeping kind of engine where, regardless of what you do, you always get something. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. And I think that works out really nicely. And those level 3 gizmos, those really differ a lot, and that gives you a lot of different focus in the game. There are different scoring opportunities, and that archiving mechanic allows you to kind of grab the one you want to focus on and then hold it and then get it into your engine by the end of the game. There's one level 3 gizmo that gives you points based on the number of marbles in your ring at the end of the game. So you can build an engine and really drive your capacity for your ring and then get a lot of pick actions towards the end of the game such that you can maximize those points. There's another gizmo also in the level 3 that allows you to that gives you points based on the number of in-game point tokens you have amassed. So it'll essentially double the number of points that you get from that. So you can build an engine that revolves around generating in-game points. A lot of different engines you can build, and I think that is really, really cool because you can intentionally try to play the game differently each time, and I think it works really, really nicely. There's not a ton of player interaction, really. It's mostly just, being cognizant of what someone may be going for. If you guys are competing for a gizmo that might work well together, or, if you see someone has a lot of yellows and so do you, and there's one yellow that comes on, you might jump on it sooner. So little things like that. But it's a family weight game. There's not a ton of interaction. But for me, that's fine. Some people that like super, interactive games, that's not really this. But for what this is, I think it works really, really well. So, overall, I think this is a really, really fun game. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like the box says 40 to 50 minutes. I would probably say it's probably closer to the 40 and fewer if you play with only 2 players. But it works well at all player counts. I played it at all player counts. So overall, a real winner designed by Phil Walker Harding. And if this sounded like it was interesting to you, I recommend trying it out or picking up a copy. Thank you again for watching.